Welcome back to WNBA Updates. Today, we're diving deep into a conversation that the entire sports world is having right now, and frankly, one that
I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlyn Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
WNBA can no longer afford to ignore. We're talking about what happens to this league every single time Caitlyn Clark is not on the court. And the numbers, as you're about to find out, are nothing short of staggering. Let's set the scene first.
Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlyn Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlyn Clark is out.
The WNBA has been on what many called an unprecedented rise over the past couple of seasons. Arenas were selling out. Television ratings were climbing to levels this league had never seen before. Corporate sponsors were lining up. Casual sports fans who had never watched a single WNBA game in their lives were suddenly tuning in. It felt like a genuine revolution in women's basketball, and at the center of all of it stood one player, Caitlyn Clark. So what happens?
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And
When that one player gets hurt? Well, we don't have to speculate because we now have the data. And the data tells a story that is both eye-opening and deeply concerning for the future of this league. When Caitlyn Clark went down with her quad injury on June 24th, the ripple effect across the entire WNBA was immediate and dramatic. Nationally televised WNBA viewership didn't just dip, it collapsed. The league went from averaging approximately 1.82 million viewers when Clark was playing
the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%.
to just 847,000 without her. That's a drop of over 55%. And here's the part that really needs to sink in. That wasn't just a drop in Indiana Fever viewership. That was a drop across the entire league. Every team, every game, every broadcast. Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan put it in the most straightforward terms possible. She noted that one player suffering an injury caused more than half of the television audience for an entire professional league to simply disappear. And she asked a pointed and legitimate question: has any other athlete in the history of American sports ever had that kind of singular impact on their league's viewership? People threw out comparisons to Tiger Woods in golf. Yes, when Tiger was absent, golf ratings dropped significantly. But even that comparison doesn't quite hold up when you look at the raw percentages. Michael Jordan's absence.
Quad injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlyn need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlyn is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it.
From the NBA? Maybe a 5% swing. Nothing, and we mean absolutely nothing, comes close to what we are watching unfold with Caitlyn Clark and the WNBA. Right now, you can make a very strong case that there is no single athlete in any sport more important to their league than Caitlyn Clark is to the WNBA. That's not hyperbole. That's just what the data is telling us. Now here's where things get really frustrating because this isn't the first time we've been here. Earlier this season, Clark missed 5 games with a left quad strain. During that stretch, WNBA viewership dropped more than 50%. The league watched it happen. The
news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlyn Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlyn Clark and how they have treated her family.
Data is telling us. Now here's where things get really frustrating because this isn't the first time we've been here. Earlier this season, Clark missed 5 games with a left quad strain. During that stretch, WNBA viewership dropped more than 50%.
What's really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season and Caitlyn Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more prone.
The league watched it happen. The media reported on it. Fans talked about it endlessly. And yet, when Clark returned and the ratings bounced right back up, nobody seemed to take the necessary steps to ensure that their most important player was being properly protected. Now she's back on the sideline again, this time with a groin injury, which medical professionals have noted could be linked to compensation from the earlier quad issue. When your body is protecting one injured area, it often overloads another. That's exactly what appears to have happened here. And the concern now is that if the league or the team rushes her back before she is fully healthy, they risk turning a minor issue into a major long-term problem. Nobody wants to see that. Not Fever fans. Not casual WNBA fans. And
Clark went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlyn Clark.
The league is Caitlyn Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th. National TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
frankly, not anyone who cares about the future of this league. The right call, even if it's painful in the short term, is to let her heal completely. Whether that means she misses 3 weeks, whether it means she sits out through the All-Star break, the priority has to be her long-term health. Rushing her back too soon is how you turn a manageable situation into a catastrophic one. Let's talk about what this means beyond just TV ratings, because the financial damage extends much further than the broadcast numbers suggest. Ticket prices for Fever games without Clark have fallen off a cliff. Some tickets that were previously selling for $860 dropped all the way down to $250. The average ticket price across all of Clark's missed games fell from $1,370 to around $80. Venues that had been rescheduled to larger arenas specifically to accommodate the massive demand for Clark tickets.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour, or whatever the circuit is that they play on, than Caitlyn Clark is to the WNBA.
Are now struggling to fill those same seats. The Lowe's Angels-Sparks rematch, a game that was one of the most watched WNBA matchups in recent memory, drawing over 2.25 million viewers when Clark played, saw tickets tumble from $210 down to $95 the moment it became clear she wouldn't be suiting up. And on the broader scale, the WNBA was already projected to lose approximately $50 million this season, even with Clark driving record interest. Without her, those losses are growing. Attendance figures are reverting to pre-Clark levels. Television ratings are falling back toward, and in some cases below, where they were before she ever set foot on a WNBA court. The league's average viewership this season without Clark has been sitting around 555,000, which is actually lower than the 670,000 average from the prior year. Think about that for a second. Despite all the momentum, all the headlines, all the supposed growth, when Clark isn't playing, the league is actually performing worse than it was before she arrived. That is a genuinely alarming statistic that every WNBA executive,
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlyn Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlyn Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlyn Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through this?
Team owner and every stakeholder in women's basketball needs to sit with for a moment. Here's what makes all of this even more infuriating. So much of this was preventable. Clark came into this league as a 22-year-old who was humble, team first, and handled an almost impossible amount of pressure and scrutiny with remarkable maturity. She was never asking for special treatment. She was just playing basketball. But from very early on, a pattern emerged where she was being targeted with hard fouls, cheap shots, and physical play that went well beyond what is typically considered competitive basketball. And the league's response was consistently the same vague statements about physical play being part of the game, with little to no accountability for the players delivering the dangerous hits. One report noted that the Phoenix Mercury alone were responsible for a disproportionate share of the league's most egregious
Man, congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlyn Clark.
I admire about Caitlyn, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
fouls on Clark, with multiple incidents occurring just in 2026. When Clark responds to the physicality, she gets criticized for being confrontational. When she absorbs it without responding, she gets criticized for being overly sensitive. The league has created a no-win situation for its most valuable player, and everyone can see.
Clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on, she getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves, because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?
Compare this to how other major professional leagues operate. Imagine the NBA allowing players to target LeBron James with dangerous, dirty plays month after month without serious consequences. That would be shut down immediately. Suspensions would be handed out. The league office would make it crystal clear that protecting its marquee talent is non-negotiable. The WNBA has repeatedly failed to take that same stance, and now they are living with the consequences. A superstar who has already dealt with 2 separate injuries in the same season, and a league whose ratings crater every single time she can't play. One dimension of this story that often gets overlooked is why the ratings drop is so steep. It's not just that Clark's fans tune in specifically to watch her, although that's certainly a big part of it. It's also that a growing segment of fans have become so frustrated with how the league has handled her situation that they are actively choosing not to give their viewership to WNBA broadcasts when Clark isn't playing. This is a form of protest. These fans feel that the league has mismanaged its most important moment in decades, the arrival of a generational talent who had the power to truly mainstream women's professional basketball. Instead of leaning into that opportunity, the narrative became messy, political, and divisive. And now those fans are saying that if Clark isn't on the court, they're not interested in supporting a product they feel has been mishandled. This matters enormously as the WNBA heads into collective bargaining agreement negotiations at the end of this season. Those negotiations will determine player salaries, revenue sharing, and the financial future of the entire league. If viewership and attendance numbers look like they do right now during a Clark absence, that is going to be a very difficult table to sit at for the players' union. The leverage that a booming, popular league provides simply won't be there if the ratings continue to tell this story. Let's be direct about what the WNBA needs to do, because the solutions here aren't particularly complicated. They just require the will to actually follow through. First and foremost, player safety has to become a genuine priority, not just a talking point. That means establishing and consistently enforcing clear standards around dangerous and targeted play. It means not hiding behind phrases like letting the players be physical, when what we're actually watching is a deliberate pattern of going after one specific player.
Because of the way they play the game, because I love the WNBA, I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlyn Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's gone for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate money?
Referees need to be empowered to call the game in a way that actually protects athletes, not just those who draw the biggest crowd, but especially those who do. Second, the league needs to be honest with itself about what is driving its growth right now. That doesn't mean everything has to revolve around one player. But it does mean acknowledging that Caitlyn Clark has generated somewhere in the range of 26 to 27% of all WNBA economic activity. That is a staggering figure. Pretending that the league's recent success is evenly distributed or that the numbers would look just as strong without her is not serious analysis. It's denial. Third, and perhaps most importantly, the WNBA needs to use this moment, even this painful moment, as motivation to build something sustainable. Clark has already demonstrated that there is a massive, largely untapped audience for women's professional basketball. People will watch. People will buy tickets. People will follow this sport passionately if it gives them a reason to. The job of the league is to make sure that audience sticks around whether Clark is on the court or not. That means investing in other compelling storylines, developing other stars, improving the overall product, and treating every game as an opportunity to win over a new fan. Right now, the WNBA is caught in a boom and bust cycle that is entirely of its own making. When Caitlyn Clark plays, the league thrives. When she doesn't, it regresses back toward the obscurity it existed in before she arrived. That cycle will continue until the league makes a fundamental decision about what kind of organization it wants to be. The good news, if you want to call it that, is that this situation is fixable. The audience is there. The interest is real. The potential is enormous. But it requires leadership, accountability, and a willingness to prioritize the long-term health of the sport over short-term drama and small-time politics. For now, the most important thing is that Caitlyn Clark heals fully and comes back healthy. The league needs her. The players need her. And yes, the fans need her too. We'll be keeping a close eye on her recovery and the league's response to all of this right here on WNBA Updates. Make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on so you don't miss our next breakdown. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. We'll see you in the next one.